Good morning, students. So yesterday we discussed the addition and addition of vectors in geometric method as well as the analytical method, and parallelogram law of vectors and its applications we are discussing. Just will few examples will be solved. Just here we are taking vector a bar, it is 3i plus 4j, and as well as next another vector is b bar equal to 8i plus 6j. But the question here is find the vector as magnitude of b bar and its direction is parallel to a bar. So magnitude should be equivalent to b bar and the direction should be parallel to a bar. So that new vector, what is the new vector here is, so the new vector c bar equal to, so magnitude is equivalent to b, so magnitude is b, that vector magnitude is b, and as well as direction parallel to a bar means we have to take the direction that is unit vector of a bar. So we can write that a cap. Therefore this is the new vector what they are asking here. So c bar equal to modulus of b bar, and a cap means you can know unit vector how to determine a. So a bar by modulus a. Then what is the b bar magnitude? 8i plus 6j in the sense, so you can understand that it is 64 plus 36, and a bar is 3i cap plus 4j cap, and the magnitude of a is under root of 9 plus 16, and it is 10 by 5, so it is 2, so 2 into 3i cap plus 4j cap, that is equal to 6i cap plus 8j cap. This is the vector which is having magnitude equivalent to b and as well as magnitude equivalent to a, and its and direction is parallel to a bar and magnitude is equivalent to b. You can understand here magnitude of b is and this one is same and its direction is along the a cap. Next, one more here you can discuss related to this concept, and you can solve, you can try some examples based on that. Then we'll go for the another one. We have three vectors a bar, b bar and c bar vectors. They are given the relation among these, that is a bar equal to b bar plus c bar, and their magnitude also they are provided. A is 5 units, b is 4 units and c is 3 units. And their question is, then find the angle between vector a bar and vector c bar. So we have to find the angle between vector a bar and c bar, and they given the magnitude and the relation among a bar plus a bar, b bar and c bar, that is a bar equal to b bar plus c bar. So how to solve it means, you know one thing, from this relation you should be get the expression of angle between a and c. That angle you have to be solve it by substituting the magnitude of a bar, b bar and c bar. To get the angle between a and c, so you have to rearrange this given equation, that is a bar equal to b bar plus c bar. From this b bar equal to, you can write a bar minus c. Then this is the equation we have. You know the difference between the vectors means already we discussed the magnitude of difference between the vectors is we know that is modulus of a bar minus c bar means that is under root of a square plus c square minus 2ac cos theta. We know this. Now what I am doing here is the same vector I am multiplying with the same vector again. Let us see here. B bar dot b bar equal to a bar minus c bar dot a bar minus c bar. Why we are doing like this is you can eliminate the square root, and as well as you can obtain here angle between the cos theta can be eliminated again. You know the dot product between the same vectors is here b square and cos 0 is 1. Here you can see a bar minus c bar magnitude is already you seen here. a square plus c square minus 2ac cos theta. So here dot product between same vectors means again what will happen? This a bar minus c bar whole square will come. Again that whole square means square root can be eliminated and we can get it here. A square plus c square minus 2ac cos theta. Then this is the angle we see in here. This cos theta angle is angle between A and C. What is the required question? So therefore we can substitute the given magnitudes. They were provided as the magnitude of A, B, C. A equal to 5 units, B 4 and C is 3. So after substituting this, 16 equal to 25 plus 9 equal to 2 into 15 cos theta. Then if you simplify it, 30 cos theta equal to, you will get here 34 minus 16 means 18, you will get it. So then cos theta equal to, you will get it as 18 by 30, that is 3 by 5. It is equal to 0.6. Therefore theta equal to, you can say as a cos inverse of 0.6. So this is the angle between A bar and C bar, what they are asking. So like this we can able to find some few examples, and related to also we can practice some numericals from the given worksheet. Next, these are the ways we discussed it. And we have few more concepts called directions, cosines, as well as the Lami's theorem, that is we can also call as sine rule. So using that, what is the applications we have, that is we will be discussing. Direction cosines. So if you take the coordinate system, direction cosines, let us take the coordinate system x axis, y and z axis, and let us take one vector. It is a r bar vector, and this r bar vector makes angles with x axis, y axis and z axis. Let it, those angles are alpha with x axis, beta with y axis, gamma with z axis. Then these alpha, if you take from the expressions alpha, beta, gamma, if you take the cos alpha here, that x component of this vector along x axis by its magnitude, that is we can write as a rx by modulus r, and cos beta, if you take it similarly, the component along y axis, that is ry by modulus r, and cos gamma is equals to rz along the z axis, the component of vector r along z axis by modulus r. Then you can write this as rx by under root of magnitude of r is, we are taking it r bar as rx I cap plus ry j cap plus rz k cap. Then it will be rx square plus ry square plus rz square root over rx square plus ry square plus root over rx square plus ry square plus rz square. So what are the cosine angles of alpha, beta, gamma were there, which is angle made by the vector with x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. These cosine angles of alpha, beta, gamma are called as the direction cosines. These are called as the direction cosines. And let it be, this is you take as a L, this is you can take as a M, and this is if you take it as a N. Then if you square it on left hand side, squaring and adding these equations L, M, N on both sides, you will get L square plus M square plus N square, that is equal to, you will get cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma. On the right hand side, if you added, so Rx square plus Ry square plus Rz square, denominator also be the same will come. So what happens here, both will be cancelled and you will get the value 1. So summation of the squares of this cosine, direction cosines is equals to 1. Then in terms of cos, you can write cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is 1. In terms of sine angles, if you want to write it up, so you can write this as a sin square alpha plus sin square beta plus sin square gamma equal to 2. So how we can get this one is just by replacing cos square with 1 minus sin square alpha. Then you will get 3 minus 1 means 2 here. So this is the relation in terms of cos, this is the relation in terms of sine. So what are the cases here? We can just simply, what kind of question they may ask you is, simple thing here, if you take one normal vector, if they are directly asked the direction cosines means, just what you do here is, direction cosine is cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma, you have to determine it, that's it. So your example will be discussed. If a bar equal to I cap plus 2j cap plus 3k cap, if they given, they ask you find the direction cosines of this vector. Just we have to find the components of this vector along x, y, z. So what is the direction cosines means? So you know that is cos alpha equal to Rx. What about Rx here? The I quotient is Rx, j quotient is Ry, k quotient is R. Just by substituting that 1 by magnitude of A, that is 1 by root over, that is 1 by root 14. Similarly, you can write cos beta equal to 2 by root 14 and cos gamma equal to 3 by root 14. This 1 by root 14, 2 by root 14 and 3 by root 14 are the directions cosines of these vectors. Or else we can take one more example here. If they given two direction cosines and if they ask third direction cosines, let us if 1 by root 2 and 1 by root 3 are the direction cosines DCs of a given of a vector, then find the third direction cosines means, just already we know the relation among the direction cosine, that is L square plus M square plus N square is equals to 1. So if you take that, here L is they given as 1 by root 2, M is they given as 1 by root 3. You want to find the N value, then you can substitute in this relation L square plus M square plus N square equal to 1. So in this relation you can substitute this 1 by root 1, 1 by root 3 and you can able to calculate the third one N value. That is the third direction cosine. Next, so we'll be discuss what is equilibrium. So you know, equilibrium means the net forces acting on it should be 0. So how net forces acting on it is 0 means, so any other forces counterbalances the what are the forces acting over it. So we can define like this, what is equilibrium means. Let us take one body. So this body, two forces One is force F1, another one is force F2 is acting. And what about the resultant force? If it is making an angle theta, means you know the resultant will be F is acting. So in between these F1 and F2. Then what is the equilibrium mean? Equilibrium means the negative vector of the resultant of number of vectors, because these two forces resultant is acting in this direction. So we want to keep this body in equilibrium means we have to be counterbalance this resultant force. How can we counterbalance this resultant force? Means we have to take the another vector which is having the same magnitude but direction is opposite. That's why the equilibrium means the vector, which kind of vector means negative vector of the resultant of these two vectors, that is equilibrium equal to minus F1. So equilibrium means you can define like this. So it is the resultant of number of vector, negative vector of the resultant of number of vectors is called equilibrium. See, few of the points they may ask you like this. If you want to keep the body in equilibrium, minimum number of coplanar forces required to keep it in equilibrium means the minimum number of equal, you have to understand, equal coplanar. What is the meaning of coplanar? All the vectors lies in a same plane. Equal number of coplanar vectors required to keep the body in equilibrium is, see, generally you know, if one body is experiencing force F1 in this direction, means other body you have to be act on this quite opposite direction, which is equivalent to same magnitude. It should be F1 and opposite direction. So minimum how many forces are required? Equal means that is 2. Is 2. Next. So if the minimum number of equal coplanar vectors means to keep the body equilibrium is 2. If it is unequal coplanar vectors means unequal coplanar vectors in the sense how many we require to keep the body in equilibrium means, you know, just to see here. Suppose if you this body have to keep it in equilibrium means, so this is F1, F2, and to counterbalance this equilibrium point is one more coplanar vector is acting here, force is acting, means how many here? 1, 2, 3. So these three forces is acting on this body, and then this body is in equilibrium means these are not equal, so unequal. So unequal coplanar vectors how many required to keep the body in equilibrium means that is 3. Next, one more. If it is a non-coplanar vectors, meaning of non-coplanar vectors means they are not lies on a same plane. So how many equal or unequal non-coplanar vectors required to keep a body in equilibrium means number of equal or unequal non-coplanar forces required to keep the body in equilibrium means, let us see here. Suppose this is the one body is suspended with the force is F1 here, and this is the another force F2. These two forces lies on the plane of the board, and one more force if I act on this direction means outside of the board, so then it will be displaced outside of the board side. Then you have to keep the body in equilibrium means what you have to do? We should be act one more force which is inside the board. Then how many forces are required here to keep this body in equilibrium? Non-coplanar means so these two are in one plane and one force is outside, another force should be in the inside. Totally we need 4 non-coplanar vectors are equal or unequal to keep the body in equilibrium is equals to 4. So because directly they may ask you such kind of questions. So which are how many coplanar forces are required, how many non-coplanar forces are required to keep the body in equilibrium, means you can answer like this using this. Next we go to the discussion of the same equilibrium concept only, that is Lami's theorem. This Lami's theorem is also called as a sine rule. You know, coplanar forces, how many we required to keep the body in equilibrium, means 3 forces we have discussed already. If 3 forces are acting on a body and there it is acting on a body, and to keep it in equilibrium, then magnitude of any 2 forces if you know, how can you find the other force? By using this Lami's theorem we can find it out. Let us suppose these are the forces acting on the body. This is the force F1, F2 and F3 are acting on a body to keep this body in equilibrium. Then the angle between the F2 and F3 is, let it be, it is alpha, and the angle between the F3 and F1 is beta, and this one is gamma. According to this Lami's theorem, the force acting on the body is directly proportional to sine angle between the other 2 forces. Let us suppose if F1 is a 4, this F1 force is directly proportional to sine angle between the other 2, that is between F2 and F3. The same way can F2 equal directly proportional to what? Sine beta, that is the angle between the F3 and F. Like that if you write F1 directly proportional to sine alpha, F2 directly proportional to sine beta, F3 directly proportional to sine gamma. Then you can write F1 by sine alpha equal to F2 by sine beta is equals to F3 by sine gamma is equals to some constant K. So this is what we can write as a Lami's theorem. Let us we see one example, if you can understand well how to solve the unknown force. If the 2 forces were given to you, see, we are taking here one rigid support and here horizontally, and here vertically we are taking another rigid support. And one body was there like this. It is connected with one string, and this is connected with another string, and it is how much angle it makes here is let us suppose it is 30 degrees it is making. Then one more string is there, it is third string, and here we are applied some load. That load is known to us. Let us take this load as F is equals to some 3 newtons or something, whatever it is there. So some load it is there. Then the question is like this. So this is string 1. It has some tension T1. It has some tension T2. So it has some tension T3. And force here, force is nothing but tension here T3. Then if you taken that these angles, if we can find it out based on this, only we know T3 means the force F3 we know, T1 and T2 we need to be find it out. What is tension T1? What is tension T2? This is the question. So first of all, you want to know any unknowns, means you have to first know the angle between the forces. Angle between the forces means you can see. First you have to simply it is 90 degrees. It is proportional to T, and here if you take it, this one alternate angles. This is 30 and this is 90 means totally it will be 120 degrees. So 120 here, 90, 210 it is over, means still we have left 150 degrees. Now like this, first you have to find out the angles between the vectors, means these forces. Then you can apply the formula here. What is tension T1? T1 directly proportional to sine 90. So T1 by sine 90 is equal to T2 by sine 150 is equal to T3 by sine 120. Then we can find here T1 and T2. T1 by 1 equal to sine 150 means here cos 60. Cos 60 is root 3 by 2. That is equal to here T3 by sine 120, sine 30. Sine 30 is here sine 60 1 by 2. Sine 150 is cos 60 1 by 2 and cos 30 here it is root 3 by 2. And we know T3. T3 is nothing but 3 newtons. So I am substituting that. That is equal to, then T1 is equals to, we can write, so 6 by root 3, that is 2 root 3 newtons, and T2 equal to, we can find out that here 2 by root 3 newtons. So this is the T1 and T2 unknowns. So this is the way different what angles they may give. Then first you have to observe what is the angle made by the between two vectors. Then you can apply this and solve the unknowns. Like that models also you can do from the worksheet. Next, these are the things, and we discussed vectors. Different types of vectors and addition of vectors, and in both the methods, analytical and graphical method, and as well as the resolution of vectors concept, parallelogram of vectors and equilibrium and sine rule and cosine rules also. Next, the last here concept is multiplication of vectors. So what are the multiplication of vectors? So that is the last concept. With that we can finish this topic.